Hey everybody, it's George the Tech here at PodFest 2025 in Orlando, Florida. It's the last day of the expo, and I will be taking an opportunity today to show off a new product that is now finally shipping.
George the Tech.
It's called the PASport VO. That's the audio interface. It's made by Centrance, and Centrance is known for making super portable, super high quality audio products. And this is no exception. This is designed specifically for the voice actor, podcaster, broadcaster audience. This is not about music, although it can work for that. This is definitely designed for communication. It's designed for recording interviews and performances and capturing them in extremely high quality, while at the same time being extremely easy to operate because every single control on the unit is a physical switch or knob. There's no touch screen, there's no tiny menus, there's no control panel you have to run, there's no drivers and software you have to install because this thing is USB class compliant and it just goes when you plug it in. Right now it's plugged into my phone through a lightning adapter on this older iPhone 11, but it has USB-C, and I have a battery pack plugged into the back of it to power the unit because it has two USB ports. One USB port can be used for your mobile device or your communications system, whatever that might be. It might be a separate PC. It might be the same PC as you record with. And the other USB port can be the dedicated recording interface for just doing audio recording without having to worry about conflicts with communication software. So it's just a clever device. It's got a mic switch, so you can switch between two microphone inputs because it has two microphone inputs, and just pressing the button will switch inputs. It also has a mute button, which will, that's right, mute the mic. No matter what mic you're on, it will always mute the mic. Never worry about people hearing you when they're not supposed to while you're on a Zoom or a live record. It also has a built-in limiter, which is great for doing anything live where you have to be concerned about clipping and distortion as you get excited and energetic. And it also has high-pass filters to take care of rumble if the mic you're using is very low-frequency sensitive. So it's very versatile, and it's available now. If you go to centrance.com/PASportVO, that's PASport with one S, PAS for Pro Audio Suite, you can grab one of these right now. And I'm just so proud of it. It's a collaborative design effort between myself and my other compadres on the show, the Pro Audio Suite podcast. It's for pros by pros. How far are you along in podcasting? Are you doing it? Been at it for a while?
Oh yeah, I have been podcast editing and producing for 6 years, and before that I was 6 years with a local public radio station. I have a radio background, and I'm also a composer, a sound designer. I had my own production company before that for about 15 years, so I've been at it for a while, grinding away at it. But I have a nice kind of self-contained studio where I am now, and for editing, voiceover recording, music, all kinds of stuff.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it is a lot of fun. I love having diverse skills in audio. It never gets boring.
It's true, and I really think that everything relates to everything else. That's kind of a weird, broad statement, but I think you have a background in music. Well, that can relate to your skills as a music editor, because sometimes I have to put on one hat and take off another. I'm a composer, but then you have to, when I'm editing a podcast, I have to put on the music editor hat and be just dispassionate about that, and that helps me as a composer. Voiceover skills just help me at editing voiceover, editing, voice tracks and things like that.
So you've got a bit of a voice acting skill set as well?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I have a hard time focusing. On a task at hand and seeing to completion. But do you have because you have so many different skill sets, is it easy for you to sort of switch gears and stay in a lane for a while and do that kind of, I don't call it multitasking, I call it microtasking. Is that easy for you?
It's hard to answer that. I think it's fairly easy for me. I find that the downside of the whole thing is that, as the pie gets sliced thinner and thinner as you take on more things to learn, which I love doing, you have to try to find the time to devote to, the music or the voiceover or podcast editing, and you have to make sure you don't let one slide for too long.
I'm glad you said the pie thing, because I've used that same analogy when it comes to divvying up time. The pie is 100%. You don't get more of that.
It's a big deal, and like I say, I enjoy, trying new things and trying to learn new skills, but that's the downside. You have to, I don't like letting one slide too long. I have to always try to, make time for getting back to this that I haven't done in a week, or getting back to that I haven't done in a few days, and so it just depends. But
do you do anything to manage that? Do you use a spreadsheet, a Trello, or any of that tech stuff, or is it more like a giant whiteboard on the wall kind of thing?
It's I don't use the whiteboard in my head.
That's pretty impressive.
I probably should use one of those management tools, and that's one of the things that's good about being here, PodFest, learning about some of these things that I haven't used that probably should, and it's just good to broaden the palette. So.
Yeah, I had somebody remind me about using Trello again. I use it for one specific thing, for managing my website development with our team, but that's it. And I'm realizing, my gosh, I'm leaving a huge amount of functionality. Like, this one person was an editor, and she showed how she uses it to manage all of her customers. And then she can share their specific project with the customer, and then she themes the project for the customer. So when they go to it, it's got their graphics, it's got their colors. I was like, wow, that's intense. Jodi, do you do anything like that?
I have been involved in some things that use Trello in that way. Like, other people have invited me to be the client on that receiving end. Yeah. So I've seen it work, but yeah.
What do you do to keep track of all the different things in all the different tasks of your job? Because we all are wearing 20 hats.
Honestly, Gmail. This is going to sound really weird, but I snooze Gmail emails.
Me too.
I know exactly what's coming up on the day. And then I just go through my email inbox. And I'm an inbox zero trying kind of person. So I tend to have like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 emails that are always there that I need to refer to. But other than that, I try and remove all the email. So it's funny because my clients know if they send me an email, I'll respond in 2 seconds. It's already, because I see it. I'm constantly on my email.
I'm the same. For me, really, the Gmail thing is what works for me too. It's something you live in every day, all day. And every time I try to reinvent the wheel and create a different system that synchronizes or blah, 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 you're like, well, I keep going back to my Gmail. So that's where I have to do everything.
So Google Calendar and Tasks, I use a lot. Those are... Yeah. It works. Why fix it,
It totally works. Yeah.
I have spent more time trying to optimize my workflow, and then I'm like, well, I should just be working.
I know, that's the thing.
That's good, yeah.
Hey, we'll try that. We'll try working, Yeah, God. But I wish I'd had this during my radio reporting days. It would have been a nice thing to have.
That is why we invented it. I've been supporting voice actors, and I came from broadcast in a way as well. I did radio a little bit when I was in college, and I've had my finger in like the pie, a lot of pieces of the pie. And I was like, why is there still not something that's been developed for the performer, actor, broadcaster, podcaster person? The thing that makes it the most unique is that it's old school. I don't know why I didn't think of marketing it this way, but I think this is the first podcaster recording device invented by podcasters. Like, for podcasters by podcasters. I think it is. I don't know of anything else. A lot of people will use it at home solo, and what they'll do is they'll have 2 mics connected. So you might have the booth mic and the desk mic, or you might have some people have a shotgun mic, and some people have like a different mic for just kind of different styles. And it has a single push button to switch between the 2 mics, which is really unique. Like, nobody's doing that.
And that's an external hard drive? Yeah.
This is a battery right now. So because it's running off of a phone, these older iPhones can't power this. A newer modern USB-C device, like a Android or a newer iPhone, will power it, but Lightning doesn't. So it's got a battery. It has 2 USBs. So what that means is they're versatile. One can be for power, but the way we really innovated was this port would be dedicated for recording, typically, and this port would be dedicated for communication. So a lot of people on PCs, there's conflicts between audio devices. Like, you try to record an audition, and then the Zoom interrupts the audition, or whatever it is. There's like conflicts. This separates the two. It's actually 2 separate audio interfaces inside. And one says comms for communication, and one says record. So when you plug them both in, you see both. There's no screen, there's no firmware, there's no control panels, it's just hardware. So it feels like a professional tool, We try to cover the basis for podcasters, again, for voice actors. and for broadcasters. And the rumor is that ABC, which is Australian broadcasting company, sort of like I think it's like their PBS. I'm not sure. I believe they have a pre-order in for some of these from a distributor in Australia.
When do these officially hit the market?
Well, essentially now. So what happened was this was a pre-order device. So we managed to convince a lot of our amazing clients and friends to put our money where our mouth is and pre-order them. And they're $6.99, so it's not a cheap device, right? And we got 90 people to commit to it early on, and that's how we got Centrance, the manufacturer, to step up and make this. They were like, you know what, I'd like to make that for you, but you're just gonna have to sell it to your customers first. And that's how it worked. So that was a year and a half ago. And
these
things take time. I mean, sure. It's a small company. Centrance is based in Chicago.
Centrance used to make, or maybe they still do, a USB.
The MicPort Pro?
Yeah, the MicPort. Yeah, I have one.
Thing?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah,
yeah. That's their claim to fame, right? In our world,
that was cool. I mean, when I was using it a lot, I had a period where that was. I was using it quite a bit, and then I moved on to some other things. But yeah, that's a great little device.
Yeah, that's a secret weapon you leave in your bag. You leave it in your glove box, you know. And you can plug. One thing I like about that thing is you can just plug it straight into a mic.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have a cable. It'll turn this mic into a USB mic, you know.
Yeah. So it was kind of like the USB mic before there were USB mics.
And it was very high quality for its time, like for something like that.
Yeah.
So same company, they've just been evolving, and so this is based on design that they'd already had. This is the chassis and the layout is designed on something they've already developed. So we didn't have to invent. It's like the reinventing the wheel thing. We didn't have to invent the form factor, the shape. We just basically took what they'd already developed and said, that thing is great. They have a product called the Portcaster, which is good. And we're like, we love that. But it'd be so cool if it did this and this and this and this and this.
Extra stuff.
And the reorganizing the guts was a big deal because everything inside the unit is an analog circuit. Other than the digital converter part, everything internally is routed through analog circuitry. And there's mixed minuses in there, right? You have the communications loop that can be fed here or there. There's no worry of echoes and loops and all the nightmaring. Oh, I hear myself echoing. If you understand the basics of how to use it and where to plug it in on your computer and what to choose as an input, it's done for you. You don't have to know about mixed minuses and stuff. So. We're proud of it, obviously. We had 100, I think there's 120 units that got manufactured in the first batch. 95 or so are spoken for, and Michael is literally shipping them right now. People are starting to receive them, and then they're posting them. Right, like this today and yesterday, people are like, I got my passport. And like people like, I know, Courvoisier is like, I keep running out to my mailbox, you know. But it's so fun because it's developed by us for us, and nobody was doing it, so we had to do it. It's probably going to be the most well-supported product, too, because you've got this crew of 4 of us and the manufacturer, Michael, all of us supporting it and explaining it and training it. And so it's just going to have so much knowledge around and education around its use. It's one of those things that's not going to come with a manual that's this thick. It's only going to have like a 4x6 card that folds out, and that's it. Because we know people don't read manuals.
Nobody reads manuals.
It's hard to get them to do that.
Thanks for the impromptu podcast episode.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with me today, Brian.
You too, George.
This was a fun little thing.
You're from LA, right?
I live in LA. Yeah.
Do you know a guy named Dave Walsh? Voiceover guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dave's a great dude.
I trained.
Dave, we're talking about you.